I genuinely believe he needs boxing.
Yeah.
I think Terence Crawford will win.
Yeah?
Yep.
You think Canelo's just a bit past his sell-by date?
I think he's seen better days.
Yeah, he's a money-making machine, isn't he?
Flattened Jake Paul.
Yeah.
It'd take him about 30 seconds. And the reason it'd take 30 seconds is because he'd probably be laughing for 20.
All right, let's get into it. Tony the Bomber Bellew, back in capital city London. Thank you for coming down, saving us the trip up north.
Absolute pleasure.
But yeah, it's been a while since we last spoke. It was the beginning of January, wasn't it? So quite a lot's happened since then. So we just get straight into it. Anthony Joshua. Well, the word on the street is the fight has been agreed with Martin Bakole. But we haven't heard anything from Eddie Hearn or Anthony Joshua. This is all coming from Benn Shalom. He says it's a done deal for the pair to fight in the Congo this summer. So showdown in Africa. We haven't heard anything from Matchroom, but this sounds like a risky fight for AJ if he's going to take it. What do you think? What would you be advising him to do?
The fact that you haven't heard anything from him or Eddie would suggest that it's far from done. But it's a really good fight. Martin Bakole's a good fighter. It's
an intriguing one for sure, yeah.
I'm not sure going by his stories, he's the sparring king of the world.
This is it, isn't it?
As I keep talking on, sparring is sparring. We've all got head guards on, we've got 16-ounce gloves on. It's a completely different ball game when you've got them little gloves on. He found out against Michael Hunter, who I can't get my head around why he doesn't want to face him in a rematch.
Well, he beat Hunter, didn't he?
He lost to Michael Hunter.
I thought he beat Hunter.
Nope.
I put it the wrong way around then.
He lost to Michael Hunter.
Okay.
And he never gave him the rematch.
Right.
Never ran it back, which I've never understood. I mean, every close fight I've had, I've always ran it back with the people. And if I'd lost, I definitely want to run it back with him a lot. I ran it back with Nathan Cleverly. With disputed decisions that I'd had, I ran it back with over Mackenzie, Isaac Chilemba, David Hay. And the people who I lost to, the people who didn't beat, I've beaten everyone in my career. Every man I've faced, I've beaten in my career, apart from Adonis Stevenson and Alexander Usyk. Yeah. And I was quite happy to say, you know what, them guys are better than me. So if I was Martin Bakole, I would be looking to avenge that Michael Hunter defeat.
For sure.
And go in there, but for some reason he just doesn't want to revisit that.
He's got his eyes on a bigger prize, maybe. But like you say, I mean, where does this, the most avoided heavyweight in the division kind of title come from? Because he was calling out Daniel Dubois, but Daniel Dubois has kind of got bigger fish to fry.
I think that's a bit far-fetched, the most avoided heavyweight.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. But
the most avoided heavyweight in the division was Zhilei Zhang, and then Joe Parker went right through him. Yeah. The most avoided heavyweight for years and years. Well, you know what? I wouldn't say any of them really avoid, because if you're a big enough draw, you just they face you. I mean, Joe Parker's faced everyone and anyone in the heavyweight division. The only person he hasn't faced is Usyk and Fury.
Yeah, he hasn't had the chance
yet. Everybody else, but I mean, I just this tag of the bogeyman of the heavyweight division. I just think it's a bit of nonsense.
Do you think
I think he's a good fighter.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's not. I think Martin Bakole's a really good fighter. I think he's strong, but I think you're blowing a bit of smoke when you start saying things like he's the most avoided heavyweight in the world. I mean, one big win over the likes of Jared Anderson is not going to make you a world beater.
That's true. Do you think it's a financial aspect to it? The fact maybe he doesn't bring enough eyes on the fight, enough money to the fight?
I just don't. Who cares?
Yeah.
I mean, you say, is this fight going to ignite any kind of big thing? If people are going to say, why is Anthony Joshua facing Martin Bakole? What's he got to gain?
Yeah, that's true.
The reason I think he's doing it is, he wants to put a spectacle on Africa if this is going to go ahead. And I commend him for that, taking boxing back to the motherland is the place, is unbelievable. It really is,
Don't see enough fights in Africa, do we?
No,
really?
we don't, and there hasn't been a fight of any kind of magnitude since, George Foreman and Muhammad Ali in Kinshasa, Zaire. So it's, you'd want to see a fight of big note over there, and wherever Anthony Joshua goes, make no mistake, he's the name, he's the draw.
Yeah, huge.
I'm sorry to tell this, but no one cares what Martin Bakole faces. Unless he faces Alexander Usyk, no one cares. Yeah. But then I'm sure we've probably heard the sparring stories of him with Alexander Usyk.
Yeah, they're probably out there somewhere, yeah.
They are out there, mate, yeah.
Well, we're not calling Martin Bakole a hype job as such.
No,
but
I think he's a good fighter, like I said before. But I think he's I think he might even be a tad overrated.
Yeah.
Because purely, for the life of me, I can't understand why you wouldn't want to run it back with Michael Hunter. If I was beaten in a really close fight by anyone, I'd want to run it back.
Yeah,
I faced everyone I wanted. I faced everyone I could. In any close fights, like I said, I'll reiterate it again. Any close fights, I ran it back with them.
Yeah,
close losses, I ran it back with them. The two people who were never beat, Adonis Stevenson and Alexander Usyk, I'm happy to just hold you down. Well, you know what, they're better than me. One's at a weight that I just couldn't make no more. And unfortunately for me, Alexander Usyk is just better than me. That's the way it goes.
Well, I don't think anyone's questioning like your integrity over the course of your career.
I think it's
you can sleep at night.
I think that's just, you put it out there and say it so people, so you can't mince me words, you can't mix them up. I'm telling you exactly why I faced them, why I've done it, and how I've done it, and why I gave them rematches to go. So I just think all fighters should have the same mentality. If you think you're the best, go and face the best people you can face.
Go and show it.
Go and show it.
Well, in boxing at the moment, there's a lot of hype and people blowing smoke around up people's backsides possibly. Who do you think is a hype job? Who do you think someone that doesn't have the resume yet to kind of prove that they are who they say they are?
I think it'd be unfair if I was to start calling fighters hype jobs. I mean, I don't think many of them are. I think that there's some world-class fighters. There's some fighters I'm really, really excited to watch and see. I thought David Benavidez against Morello on the weekend was a fantastic fight, a brilliant performance from Benavidez. He's a 100% the real deal. He's a threat to anybody in the world.
Been around a while now, hasn't he? 12 years of pro.
He's a really, really good fighter. I mean, I just think he's a very, very good fighter.
Yeah. Who else? We saw Adam Azim at the weekend as well. Great win for him.
He's a very good fighter.
Yeah,
I rate Adam Azim highly. I think he's one of the quickest kids I've seen since Amir Khan. I like his style, I like what he does. I think it's unfair to draw comparisons and people trying to throw him into big matches after 12 bouts.
Yeah, it's early days.
I understand, I get it. I get the back and forth with Eddie and Ben Shalom and the Dalton Smith kind of saga that's going on. But ultimately, you've got to look at it. If you was looking after Adam Azim and he'd had 12 bouts, why would you be rushing towards Dalton Smith? No one should be rushing towards Dalton Smith because Dalton Smith is going to be a world champion. He's a world-class fighter who's got great amateur pedigree. He's got a wealth of experience behind him now. He's been in a gym with with world champions. And I just think he's the next one to be reeled off the list. I rate his dad very, very highly. I also rate Shane McGuigan as a coach. As a boxing coach, I think he's fantastic. I think he's one of the best in the country. I rate Shane McGuigan that highly. As a boxing coach, I think his management skills are dreadful, but that's another case.
Can't have it all, can you, to be fair?
But I think he's a brilliant boxing coach. His game plans, his fundamentals, all of his fighters are well equipped. They're not lacking severely in any kind of part of the game. He makes sure they're all well-rounded. They're all well-rounded fighters, decent in offense and defense. I thought the job he done with Chris Billam-Smith to get him where he got to was fantastic.
Yeah, really was.
Chris Billam-Smith is a basic, tall, strong stand-up fighter. He doesn't do anything great. He's not the biggest hitter, but the job Shane McGuigan done with him, I thought was just brilliant. I really do. The fights were picked at the right times. The win over Lawrence Okoli was standout. The win over Richard Riakpo was a big one for me because I didn't think he was going to do it. And you've got to give Shane McGuigan, you've got to tip your hat sometimes. So I do give credit where it's due, even if me and Shane don't see the best. I'm honest enough, I'm honest enough to say, listen, I do think he's a really good coach.
Another quick word about Adam Azim. Do you see him as a future world champ? He's 13-0 now, beat a former world champion. Do you think he can go to that level?
Of course I do. I think he's very, very well skilled. I think he's super, super fast. Confident. I do rate him, So world titles are still a bit of a way away. And he's in a stacked division.
That's the other thing. That's a good point.
And you've also got to understand that when you pass that European level, which Lipinets, whatever it is, whichever he is, Lipinets, former world champion, seen better days.
It's true.
He's been beat up off a few now, and we've seen him when he went in against Boots, exactly what Boots done to him. So anyone, I don't think anyone over here is ready for Boots Ennis yet. No. But slow steps.
Baby steps, working his way there. Since we last spoke, Jai Opetaia. Great win for him. He's one of the scariest guys in boxing, let alone his division, isn't he? Really?
He's a monster. He's just got to be very careful with the matches that you make. I mean, he's the best cruiserweight in the world. There's no disputing that. I do think the Zerdo fight's a good fight. It's one that he wins. But, I mean, I see challenges if... Do you want to see the winning of Bertabayev versus Bivol? If it's Bertabayev, he wants to jump up. You've got to be careful playing around people like him.
For sure.
He's an animal. He's powerful. He's... Yeah, he's super
Huge
strong.
fight that would be, though, wouldn't it?
It would be big.
The juices flowing.
But for the first time, I think Bellew would be feeling what's coming back at him.
Yeah.
Opetaya can hit, he can move, he's slick, he's quick. He poses a lot of problems for anyone. I'd love to see Benavidez and Bellew.
Yeah.
I'm Bivol and Benavidez. I mean,
God, what division
the light heavyweight division stacked. We've also got a big, huge domestic fight coming up soon on this February card in Callum Smith and Joshua Buatsi.
Yes.
Another brilliant fight. So the light heavyweight division is strong, mate. It really is.
It really is. But let's get back to the heavyweight division for the moment.
Yeah.
We did get a quick fire quote from you after Tyson Fury announced his retirement. And now it's kind of marinated for a while. Not many people are convinced that that's it for him. Do you think this is kind of a negotiating tactic? So when Turkey comes to him and says, we want you to fight AJ, everyone wants to see it. He's just got the cards in his hand and he can just maximise his kind of purse.
I just think he announced his retirement as a knee-jerk reaction. Well, it was a knee-jerk reaction. Was he in the car when he done something like that? Was he sitting? Yeah. He was in and that just tells you it's a knee-jerk reaction. He hasn't announced to call the press conference. He hasn't wanted to. He's just basically jumped on his phone and gone, "I'm retired. See you after."
Yeah.
And that's not the ideal way to do it. I mean, it's not. I shouldn't say not the ideal way to do it. I mean, that's just not the standard way to do it.
Well, it's impulsive, isn't it? But that's classic Tyson Fury, isn't it?
And that's what he does, mate. He acts and lives on impulse. He acts on emotion as well. And I just think, once the dust is fully settled, I just think he'll be back. I genuinely believe he needs boxing.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he? He lives for it. He breathes it, sleeps it.
He loves it.
Yeah.
It's in him. Phenomenal fighter, mate. A brilliant fighter. And if he is retired, mate, I couldn't wish him all the best.
Yeah.
He's got a lovely family, a lovely wife behind him. And I just wish him all the best. But I just feel he'll be fed up and bored.
Maybe he'll go and make another season of At Home with the Furies.
I just think...
And then take the kids to school for a bit.
I think that the personality that he's a winner. And he's got that, what's the word I'm looking for?
Drive and determination.
That competitive nature about him. And once he sees someone come back or gets a couple of wins and he just thinks, I can beat him. And he should be thinking that because he's a winner. He should think he can beat everyone. But I just feel that's what will draw him back, his competitive spirit. Yeah.
Whereas AJ, people have said after the Dubois defeat, maybe he should be considering retirement, but it doesn't seem to be in his mind at all. Do you think AJ's held to kind of unreasonable standards in terms of, we look at his career, Hall of Famer, kind of, he's fought everyone, whereas people that have been pro for the same amount of time as him, Tank, Benavidez, we spoke about, they haven't really fought to the same levels, but yet they don't face the same criticism as AJ.
He lives under a different level of scrutiny because this guy's been in front of the camera since 2012.
It's been a long time.
The minute he brought that Olympic gold medal home, he's been in front of the camera. His whole life's been scripted out in front of the camera, like I say. So very, very difficult to deal with that kind of pressure. I think he's in a place now where he doesn't care win, lose or draw, he just wants to fight. I think he's past caring about belts. I think he's past caring about status and sponsorship deals.
Money in the bank.
I just don't think... He's wealthy.
Yeah,
he's probably, the richest fighter in the world.
That's it, yeah. He just wants to prove that he's still...
I just want to fight. You know what, you just think... It's crazy because when you're fighting and you're chasing titles, you've got a goal, you've got a reason. Then when you've got the belts, or when you've won a belt, or when you become world champion, you're like, okay, it's to make money. And then when you've made money, you're like, why am I still doing this? And you only find and learn that when you're sitting usually alone, and you think to yourself, I realised that I was sitting alone in a fucking Holiday Inn Express in the middle of Rotherham, and I was sitting there just thinking, I've made double-digit millions, I've won a world title, I've won a British, Commonwealth and European, I've fought everyone, and I thought, why am I doing this? And you go back to the gym in the morning, you think, I'm doing this because I love what I'm doing. I love actually fighting.
Yeah.
And I'm good at it, and I like it. And people don't really want to stop doing what they're good at.
Well, that's it. Once you stop, that's it. You'll never get it back, never get that feeling back of being in the ring and having your
So I do get it, and I do get it. And people will think, well, it's always about the money. It's not. Listen, the money helps. But when you don't... It's not that you don't no longer need the money. When the money isn't the driving factor, and the belts isn't the driving factor, and the acclaim or the credit isn't it, you go, what am I doing? And you soon find out you just like fighting.
Yeah, loves it.
Yeah, I've said it before, I'll say it again, I've got a screw loose. I'm missing a few little things that should be setting things off in my brain. I'm definitely missing some of them.
You think AJ's missing that same screw then?
We've all got them, mate. Everyone, you're missing a screw, he's missing a screw, but I just say it, I'm a little bit more open to it.
Right.
But when you're being punched the way we have and knocked up and banged up, to carry on going back, there's something fucking missing. And we'll never know what that is, but something keeps drawing us back and wanting us to do more. So let's just see where he goes. One thing that cannot be disputed is he's had an unbelievable career for where he's at in his life and where he was while he was on that GB squad. Robert McCracken, getting him to them Olympic Games, winning Olympic gold, going on to be unified heavyweight champion of the world, defending that, losing it, winning it back, taking boxing to Saudi Arabia for the first time ever.
Yeah, let's not forget.
And now it's like it's the home.
Yeah. He set the trend, didn't
he?
He kind of started that.
He started it off.
No doubt.
King bin Salman and and now you've got obviously His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh picking up the mantle.
Yeah.
They're driving it. There's a driving force behind it, and I can't give them enough credit.
It's kind of sparked off this golden era of boxing that we're in. So credit to him for that. How do you think he would have felt when he heard Tyson Fury announce his retirement? Because he must be wanting that Fury AJ fight.
Of course he'll want to fight, and they'll all want to fight. But listen, I said this before and I'll say it again. There hasn't been an explosion in boxing like this since Harold Lewis and the bank embezzlement money.
Oh yeah, you told us that story.
Read about it, find out about it. He was the last man to try and change boxing and make it all as one. He went up against Bob Arum and Don King and challenged them. The fighters loved him because he just paid them.
Yeah.
And he literally
borrowing the money, wasn't he?
Sugar Ray Leonard, I read a book about him, and Sugar Ray Leonard, like we said, the times where he paid us before the actual fight took place.
Yeah.
So like he'd give us a $5 million payday and he'd go like, you'll have that in your bank tomorrow. And like the fight was 3 weeks away.
Bro.
And he was like,
that's confidence, isn't it?
It's the way things go, and we're kind of in that transition period at the moment with Turki Al-Sheikh. He's making the big fights happen. He's making the huge events happen. He's put boxing back amongst the top of all combat sports because we've got to all be brutally honest. The UFC has taken precedence over the last few years. It was coming there,
wasn't it? It was on the verge, but now it's kind of been
massive in Vegas. It's massive all around the world. Everywhere the UFC goes, it's sold out arena. But the thing that the UFC doesn't have that boxing has is it's been going on for so long. We have the history behind us. The UFC still is. It's kind of still a new trend.
Kind of like the noisy neighbour, isn't it? Like when Fergie said that about Man City, it's the noisy neighbour to boxing.
Don't get me wrong. I think the UFC is one of the greatest,
promotionally
in the world. And what Dana White's done cannot ever be. He could happily call himself the greatest promoter ever. Dana White could. There's no. I would have no problem in saying
to take something from hasn't got anything, and then to the stage now.
It when it was at the very start, I remember watching Mark Kerr and Mark Coleman. And then it growing and growing. The likes of Tito Ortiz, Randy Couture, all these people. And then I remember it was dying down, and then what Forrest Griffin done and Stephen Bonner put on in that Ultimate Fighting final thing was just nuts, and it just exploded on Spike TV.
From there,
and it goes from there. But all of these things, it relates back to boxing, because boxing is the king of all combat sports. The heavyweight champion of the world is probably the most known, used to be the most known face in the world. I feel like it's now getting back there. I mean, the most famous face in the world right now, I'd probably say, is Mike Tyson.
Tyson Fury's probably up there as well.
Yeah, I mean, he is for his box meeting, but I don't think there's a more famous face in the world than Mike Tyson.
Yeah. Just
you don't have to stick the icon of his tattoo on somewhere, and everyone just goes, "That's Mike Tyson."
Yeah, you're right. That's true.
For someone, there'll be places in the world, in Africa or wherever, there'll be places somewhere, and people won't actually know who Tyson Fury is.
Probably
There's not a place on planet Earth that someone doesn't know Mike Tyson.
Drop him anywhere, middle of the rainforest. People be like, "Hey, Tyson
Fury." You could drop him in the ocean.
The fish will recognise him. Hilarious. All right. Turki Al-Sheikh, you said there, he's been making fights that other people probably would never be able to make. Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford now have an agreement in place for a September mega fight on a Riyadh season card in Vegas. You think that will all be on Canelo's terms? The weight, the kind of the gloves, everything like that.
Everything.
Deservedly so. How do you see? Do you think Terence Crawford's got a shout there?
I don't think they've deserved. I think Terence Crawford will win.
Yeah.
Yep.
You think Canelo's just a bit past his sell by date?
I think he's seen better days.
Yeah, that's fair, isn't it?
I think the writing was on the wall. I do think he's an amazing fighter, though. I think he's one of the best of his era, one of the best of his generation.
Terence Crawford, though, also
you know what?
Top quality.
Bud's been around quite a while, but he's an exceptional fighter. An exceptional fighter. And I don't know, listen, I could be completely wrong here, whereas I just can't look past Bud. I just can't look past Crawford. And he's actually bigger than you think. I've been around him, I've seen him in person. Right, when we were making Creed 3, I was watching him train in the gym. I was with him quite a bit. Super talent.
Got the experience now as well, but like he says, maybe fresher in the think business end of the fight. He'll be able to
a lot less fights than Canelo, and then ultimately, a part of me thinks, how much does Canelo really want anymore?
It must be hard after the amount of rounds he's put in.
He's once again one of the richest fighters in the world.
Yeah, no doubt.
He could possibly be the richest fighter in the world.
Well, there's been talk of him and Jake Paul, but it's hard to see that happening at this stage of his career. Maybe a few years down the line. You think he'd actually do that?
No, he would do it 100%. I mean, who wouldn't?
For the money, yeah. He's a money-making machine, isn't he?
Flatten Jake Paul. It'd take him about 30 seconds. And the reason it'd take 30 seconds is because he'd probably be laughing for 20.
That's
so,
great.
I mean, he could do whatever he wants to Jake Paul. You have to understand the level that Canelo Alvarez operates at. It's a different level to what 90% of boxers.
Different league, yeah. Would even have to get out of second gear. He'd probably stick it in first gear, really.
Brilliant.
Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn, it's getting closer. It's on the cards. Eubank Sr. still doesn't think it's going to happen. He still thinks, there's weight divisions for a reason. The rehydration clauses, don't read too much into that.
I just addressed this rehydration clause nonsense. So if this was going to be for the IBF title, and I would assume that this is going to be some kind of IBF eliminator for this to be put in place, you would have to have the rehydration clause in place anyway, because you have to do the check weigh-in on the day. They're not doing nothing that the rules haven't had a son already do. I'm pretty sure Chris Eubank Jr. has fought for the IBF title.
Yeah. Well, they were trying to boil him down to 157 for the initial match,
weren't they? For the initial match.
2.5 years ago, but that's all changed.
That's two people making weight. I'm pretty sure before that first fight was getting done, Chris Eubank was going online and saying anyone from 154 to 168 can get it. Well, if you're trying to meet 157 was okay, because you're saying you could make 154, but I don't know.
But that's it.
It is what it is. I mean, I just think this is a perfect fight for both. It makes the most sense for both. And just enjoy it. It's going to be absolute carnage. It's going to be absolutely huge. It's going to be nuts. Yeah. I think there'll be some crazy shenanigans along the way.
I think so. Yeah. There was a bit of kind of dark arts in when Eubank and Benn Sr. met. When they cut Chris Eubank's music halfway through his walk on. Do you remember that? You were 7 or 8 years old, I think, the original fight.
But it's part and parcel.
Yeah, it's all part of it.
All is fair in love and war, and ultimately nothing matters until you get in that ring.
Exactly.
That's all that matters. What happens no one cares what happens in the gym. No one cares what happens in the press conference or the build-up of the way. Everyone forgets that. All that matters is when you get under the lights, what happens.
Yeah, it's at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, which is a bit of a controversial one. Didn't happen out in.
Yeah, I've been there for the AJ fight and Usyk in it.
Personally, can't give it too much credit as an Arsenal fan, but we'll leave that there. At least it's not out in Saudi.
It's an unbelievable stadium.
Yeah,
do you know what? For me, it wouldn't have mattered where it went.
Yeah.
Whether it went to Saudi, I know we've got this big thing about the atmosphere or the fight should be here. Why should they? The fight should be where whoever is paying for it.
That's it. Yeah.
No one's ever said nothing about Vegas. Why the fights go to Vegas? Because you know why? Because the fucking casinos pay for them.
That's where the money was.
And that's where the money is. So if Saudi are going to pay, why? What's everyone's problem?
No,
it's their events. They do whatever the fuck they want.
I feel like the atmosphere in the actual arena isn't like it used to be in Vegas. But that's some people's problem. That's just reality. Maybe they have to just get used to that.
If you take enough fans, you'll take the atmosphere with you. Ricky Hatton proved that.
Ricky Hatton took thousands.
Frank Bruno proved that.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's been done time and time again by English fighters. So it's whoever's paying has the option and right to do whatever they want because they're paying, and that's what the fighters want. That's all the fighters expect to be paid.
Yeah. There's rumours that Vladimir Klitschko could possibly be entertaining a fight with Alexander Usyk, which is another weird one because when you think about it, Klitschko's 48 years old now, hasn't fought since 2017.
He wouldn't have beat him in his prime.
No, don't think so. No. What about? Usyk? He's someone who just loves fighting, lives for the fighting, but
Yeah, I know they're friends as well. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe just like an exhibition, maybe down the line.
I wouldn't even put him in. I mean, I just don't think Usyk wants to entertain anything like that. But it is what it is.
It is what it is. Jake Paul, he's obviously got one loss on his record to Tommy Fury. He wants the rematch, but he's blaming Big John Fury for the reason why the rematch can't get made. I'm not sure exactly what the logic is there.
I haven't got a clue about that, but whatever.
Do you think deep down he knows he wouldn't beat Tommy Fury again, and he's just making excuses there?
I think it was one of them fights. It was really close.
It was close, wasn't it? Yeah, maybe a rematch would be decent.
It'd be really close. I mean, the standard's not very good, but each to their own. I mean, they're not appealing. Let's be brutally honest. They're not appealing to the genuine boxing fans out there, are they? Really, they're appealing to a gang of kids, YouTube people. I mean, when I turned up at that event and caused a bit of a stare,
you did indeed, yeah.
At the Tyson and Jake Paul presser.
Yeah.
It was an audience that I'd never seen before, and I've been around boxing my whole life, and that weren't boxing people there because
YouTubers and
I was just able to float in, just sit down, chill out. Literally, 3 media and press recognised me. I got called Pretty Ricky Conlon more than I did Tony Bellew.
No way.
And that's the kind of nonsense.
What is going on?
That's the kind of nonsense these shows are putting on.
Get their knowledge up over there, don't they?
Well, fair play. Listen, they're going to make an absolute bucket load of money. So if they do it, good luck to them. I wish the both of them well.
Someone else who's been trying to make money in a slightly less legitimate way is Ryan Garcia. I don't know if you've seen. He launched his own cryptocurrency called the Ryan Coin, and then people invested. I presume his fans invested, and he just whipped the rug out. And he's done a runner with the money. Deleted his post. He said 40% of all the Ryan dollars money will be going to charity, but then it tanked 90%, so he's basically done a runner there.
Really?
Yeah, which isn't good to see.
Okay, I had no idea, but thankfully I don't invest in the Ryan Coin.
Yeah, well, I mean, knowing what we know about what happened with him before, failing drugs tests,
was it not the wisest person
Osterin.
to
well, that's it. Maybe he's not the most integrous person, but he'll be fighting Romy Romero. And then the rematch with Devin Haney is apparently scheduled for September this year, Madison Square Gardens. That'll be a grudge match, won't it, after what happened the first time around?
I feel for Devin Haney.
Yeah, it's been a bad year for him.
I feel for him, but listen, it's boxing.
Yeah, but he'll be out there for his revenge, obviously. I mean, what more motivation does he need?
It's boxing, mate. I feel for him, but I think as much as I absolutely despise drug cheating, they should be all banned for life.
A year-long ban's not enough, is it, for that? No way.
No. It's just one of these. I just can't get my head around it. But like I said before, I'll say it again. Boxing is only going to get better when it's all forming under one set of rules. Turkey El Sheikh, I think, could do that. If all of the boxing and the governing bodies, the commissioning's bodies, the states would all form under one set of rules, then we're getting somewhere. Like the UFC. They form under one set of rules. You fail a drug test, you're banned for life. Done. And if all of these organisations and associations stick by it and stand on it, trust me, drugs will soon fizzle out of boxing.
Yeah, that's what you have to hope. Quick word about Claressa Shields. First undisputed world champion in 3 weight classes now in the 4-belt era by beating Danielle Perkins. Is she already the GOAT for women's boxing?
Nah, I just don't think
unbelievable woman.
I don't think there's any comparison. Yeah. She's unbelievable.
Yeah.
She's exceptional. She's brilliant at what she does. Punch picking's off the chart. She's just in a league of her own. That slip right hand that she gave that girl, just wow.
Incredible stuff. There was rumours that she might fight Jake Paul at one point in time. She'd probably knock him out as well, to be honest. But maybe not. Who knows? We don't want to see men and women getting in the boxing ring. Right, a couple more quick-fire questions. Tyson Fury's cousin, Walter Fury, takes on Joe Hardy on the Chisora Wallin undercard. How much do you know about Walter? What can we expect from him?
Is he Peter Fury's lad or nephew?
Must be, yeah.
I think he's his nephew. He's training. Yeah, listen, Peter's a good coach. Knows boxing. Been around it a long time. If Peter believes in him, then he's obviously a one to look out for.
Yeah, could be excellent stuff. We've spoken about the Riyadh season card before, I think, have we? But should we just quick run through Beterbiev, Bivol 2, Dubois, Parker. Both great fights.
It's an exceptional card.
Tough to predict, aren't they? Some of them really.
It is. I mean, with the Dubois and Parker fight, you can obviously make cases for both of them. if I could put a game plan in place, there's a way to be defeating Dubois, and it's you cannot start slow, mate. If you get this boy gain any confidence whatsoever, he's going to run through you like a steam train.
How he came out against AJ, didn't he? All guns
blazing.
He
allowed him to get confidence, and it cost him. It really did. I just think Joe Park comes out, sticks a hard jab on him, lands a few hard shots early doors. I think he takes over the fight and just wins at a canter. Okay. But if he allows Daniel Dubois to gain any kind of confidence and get on top of him, he's had it.
Yeah,
he's literally had it.
Could be. He just lands one of his bombs and then...
He's a strong boy, Daniel Dubois, but he's very tunnel visioned. He doesn't see much. He doesn't see the peripheral thing around him. He's tunnel vision. He just sees straight ahead. Just goes for you, and he's balls in. But when you're a fighter like that and you don't see everything around you, you don't see the full circumference of everything. It limits you to what you can actually do, and that's why when I think it gets hard for Daniel, he doesn't know what to do.
We've seen it.
He doesn't know how to adapt. He doesn't know how to manoeuvre himself out of danger. He doesn't know. He just gets hit and he panics and he just goes, "I've had enough." And I've seen him do that twice, and that can happen again. But Joe Parker's got to set about him and get about him immediately from the get-go. He cannot allow Daniel Dubois to get confidence in any way, shape or form, and I think he has a chance. But if I was a betting man, you're probably looking at...
It's tough, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's just...
Do you think it's going the distance, or do you think someone's getting stopped there?
Yeah, I do think someone's getting stopped.
Could be early stoppage for Dubois or late for...
Yeah, I think that's a fair analysis, but I just think I don't want to detract away from Joe Parker, because since he's been with Andy Lee, he's been a different fighter.
Yeah.
And he meets adversity head on. He faced adversity with Deontay Wilder, and he faced big, dangerous adversity in Zhilei Zhang. Dropped, hurt, felt the punches. You have to understand his resume is absolutely fantastic. There's wins and losses around here, but
he's never said no to anyone.
No, he just fights everyone, mate. From AJ to Dillian White to Chisora a couple of times, to Deontay Wilder, to Zhilei Zhang, to Andy Ruiz. All these fighters, mate, he's fought everyone. He really has. I say he's only missing Fury and Usyk off his list.
Quick change of direction here. What colour has your wheelie bin?
Which one?
The main one.
I've got a few.
Have you? What colour are they?
I've got a purple one, I've got a purple, I've got a grey, I've got a green.
All right. You're a proper scouser then with a purple wheelie bin. Can you be a proper scouser without a purple wheelie bin? That's the question.
It depends.
Connor Cody hasn't got a purple wheelie bin.
It depends where you're living at the time.
That's it. He's from St Helens, I think. So
if I go to my Ma's, then yeah, it's a purple wheelie bin. Where I'm living with my kids, it's not a purple wheelie bin.
But I suppose you've kind of moved slightly out from
I've always tried to just have the best place for my kids. And the quietest and best place, mates, is what makes sense. So where I live, the average age is 60. It's absolutely brilliant.
It must be quiet then. No big parties on the weekend around
you. Go, mate. Exactly.
Fair play. All right, a couple of quick fire questions. I just got Neil actually sent them my way just before this. So, what sense of community did boxing bring you when you were growing up, and kind of what got you started in boxing in general?
What got me started in boxing was I wanted to impress my dad. So my dad was a man who could really have a fight.
Yeah.
And me coming home with 10 GCSEs and great exam results wasn't really going to cut it. Me coming home and telling me that I've knocked someone out, or I've been in the boxing gym and I'm doing really well and improving, that's going to get me a new tracksuit and whatever trainers I want.
Right.
Probably a new pair of footy boots.
Your dad kind of run the doors in some of the clubs around Liverpool and stuff like that?
He ran quite a bit of Liverpool's nightlife many years ago. He had quite a successful security company that ran most of the best nightclubs in the city, and we used to have a great laughs in them, working at them.
I can imagine that must be quite...
As time goes on, mate, people get older, and then the rules that applied to them working nightclub doors many years ago didn't apply anymore. And then that's when things get worse. And he's a lot older now. Yeah, I'd say he's a lot older.
Yeah.
But yeah, I started fighting purely so I wanted to impress my dad.
Right, I see.
And it worked out all right.
I'm sure you have, more than impressed him by this point. So fair play to Mr. Bellew Senior. Do you feel that using
what the question originally was? Sorry,
sense of community from boxing.
Listen, but being in an amateur boxing gym is the best feeling in the world. It is a family. It's not like that when you turn professional. You're a piece of meat, and you have to soon realise that.
You have to make that change to the mindset. Your
mindset, you're on your own. It's you against the world when you turn professional. As an amateur boxer, I was part of a very successful team, part of Rotunda ABC, which is just me home away from home. And then being on a GB squad, living in Sheffield Monday to Thursday, that's tough, it's demanding. But you're part of a team, as I say, a 16-man team. And it was big, it was great. Had some amazing laughs, so many stories, so many great memories.
It's been great.
But ultimately it all leads to the pros, because that's where you then secure everything. And in the pro game, it's not nice.
One tip you would give first timers getting into boxing?
Boxing isn't a hobby, it's not just a sport, it's a way of life, if you want to take it seriously. If you want to go to an amateur boxing gym, enjoy it, get stuck in, have a go. But if you're thinking of taking it to an actual career, then believe you cannot fuck around with boxing. It is not a game, it is not a hobby, boxing, it is not a sport, it is literally a way of life. It takes over your whole life. Boxing came first for me. For almost all of my adult life, it's just been that the driving factor. To win that world title, I was willing to die.
Dedication
anything someone's willing to die while they're doing is fucking nuts. Because there's more to life than boxing, but I was that stupid idiot who was literally willing to do anything to win.
That's a hardcore mentality.
That's
what you need in boxing.
But that's the mentality that got me to where I got to. That's the mentality that won me a world title. That's the mentality that got me lifelong dream of fighting for the WBC title at Goodison Park. That was that mentality that got me there. Without it, I'd have just been a run-of-the-mill standard fighter.
And now you've got the legacy to look back on and be very proud of.
I don't know about legacy, but it worked out all right.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, quick one. What's your opinion on training early in the morning as opposed to late in the evening or at night? I presume you're going to say morning. Most boxers must be morning.
I prefer morning, but it depends what you want to achieve. If you want to train to your maximum potential and train and get the best results, it would not be training of a morning on an empty stomach like I used to train. You're not going to get the best results.
No.
If you want to get the best results, train on, I wouldn't say a full stomach, but train with adequate amounts of food and the right food in you, and you will see the best results. I mean, all my best running times was all done in the night with a full belly of food in me. All the best running times. It's just I've ran some fucking ludicrous times and crazy 6 mile runs.
What kind of distance? Runs. 6 miles, yeah.
Yeah, and I would just, if I had a full belly, mate, I could run Saturday night when everyone's out partying. I would be running at 11 o'clock at night with a full belly of food.
Really interesting.
Yeah, and I would fly. But then other than that, there'd be times when you have to make weight to 5:30, get up, run. And the run's a slog. It's hard because you're cannibalising your own body fat.
Yeah, true.
And that's the kind of things you would do. There's so many different ways of training. For me, I'm up now first thing in the morning. So this morning I was up on my Peloton for 6 o'clock this morning.
Okay, impressive.
So
get out there early doors.
For 6 o'clock this morning. This is for those who don't know. Then
Tony's still out there. Okay.
Indoor cycle.
45 minutes.
45 minutes, elapsed time, average heart rate of 163, 825 calories in 45 minutes.
That's no joke. Effort hard, 8 out of 10. I think that's fair enough there,
Yeah, it's not bad. Solid effort, top heart rate was 191 this morning. Oof. Average heart rate, as I say, was 163. So decent. They're the kind of things I'll do just to get the work in and get it done. If I wanted to better the best of that result, I'll swim a mile once a week. I'll get on my Peloton twice a week. I'll lift weights once a week, and I'll try and punch once a week. Yeah. It's more like punch once a fortnight now, and I've only done that since the start of the new year. Last year I only punched 4 times.
So it's about variety for you, isn't it? Like mixing it up.
It's about variety and getting the work done, but ultimately there's so many different ways of training, and it depends what you want to achieve. If you want to burn fat, then there's a way. Then training in the morning on an empty stomach is the correct way to do it. If you want to get fitter, stronger, and faster, then I would suggest more. Maybe not overnight, just on a full stomach.
Yeah. You don't want to be in a calorie deficit if you're trying to put on muscle. Obviously, you've got to be calorie surplus eating.
You have, but it's all about the right calories going in.
Very true.
You know, I can put thousands of calories in my body, but it's going to be thousands of calories of shite.
Right.
I can also then put 1,000 calories of really good stuff in that's going to,
fuel me
better.
Yeah. What about recovery? Do you use hot and cold therapy for recovery?
Yeah, I've always done ice baths. I've always done things like that. So ice baths for a long time. I've been in the cryo chamber a number of times. Everton have got their own cryo chamber.
Okay.
So I've been in there. I just didn't feel it gave me the same effects as a 10-minute ice bath. But then I used to get in the ice bath and they'd go mad at me going, you can't be in there for that long. That's way too long. And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. Don't worry. So I'd have it literally till I go numb.
Right, really?
And then you get out and it takes a while for the sense to come back to your body, but then I could go the next day. Not not hard the next day. If I've done a really hard session and you're in the ice bath for 10 minutes at the end of it, 2 days. When I was younger, the next day I'm good to go.
Yeah.
But so recovery is as important as the work.
Right, fair. Very interesting knowledge there. Well, thank you, Tony. I think I'll just wrap it up there. But until next time.
Always a pleasure.